The story of a people is told best by those who live it out daily. And when the history of that community is informative, inspirational, and insightful, it should then be shared with the world. The Clio Exchange does that.
It is such a delight to have you here and visiting with us. Dr. Haidt, as I mentioned to you, the Clio Exchange is dedicated to celebrating African American, Latin, Asian, and Native American history on an ongoing daily basis. And we try to do it in a way that will have contributors, history makers like yourself, come and be a part of sharing what it really took for you to develop to the person that you are today. And I know you grew up in Richmond, Virginia.
No, I grew up in Rankin, Pennsylvania.
Born in Richmond.
Born in Richmond.
And from there to here, there had to be something in that beginning that set the pattern for who you are today. Can you talk to me about those growing up years?
Well, I really grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania called Rankin, near Pittsburgh. It was at a time, I was born in 1912, and 4 years later, which you know was just on the beginning of moving toward World War I, but also it was at a time when there were what they called transportations from the South, where black people moved from the South for greater opportunity. My father was a painter and building contractor, and my mother a nurse. But my father had the idea that he would do much better, and it proved to be true in Rankin. So when I was 4 years old, I moved to Rankin, Pennsylvania. But I grew up in a small steel mill town, and it was very good because the population was predominantly foreign-born, and there was a tiny black population. But I cherish the fact that I grew up with that kind of a diversity.
That had to be in a steel town. I assume humble beginnings.
Yes.
That had to be the foundation for establishing a pattern in your life that even today causes you to outpace those around you. I mean,
well, yes, I would say that for me it was a rich experience growing up in the diversity, but I was coming out of a Christian home, and I lived next door to the church, so that my mother always volunteered me for everything that was going on, so that I was always in the church and in that sort of thing. But I think it was the kind of activities that we had that got me started, and later on, some women came and organized the YWCA, and of course I was quite a joiner. In fact, I joined so much, my mother used to say, "Dorothy, if you join anything more, I'm not going to let you go to it." But I joined that, and also so being a part of the Young Women's Christian Association at an early age was a very good thing for me.
Yeah, you served with distinction with YWCA. In fact, it was through that relationship that you first met Dr. Woodson, right?
That's right. I first met Carter G. Woodson when I came in 1939 to be the executive of the Phillips Weekly YWCA, and I was just around the corner at 9th and Rhode Island, where he lived. And Dr. Woodson would come every evening, because at that time, there was no place in the city except the Union Station and the YWCA cafeteria where I was that a black person could get anything to eat. And Dr. Woodson used to knock on my door every night, and we would have dinner together, and he would talk about the things that he was concerned with. And what you're doing here in Black history was really at his heart. And he talked about it all the time, and why, what he said, we have to deal with the miseducation. And the miseducation was not only of white people, but of black people. That we were taught that we were slaves and so on. We were never taught of our African heritage and the fact that often we were kings and queens who were made slaves, but that we never even knew what we had done in this country. So that was I used to say every evening, well, I'm going to have a history lesson.